Yuccie! What is a yuccie? Well, if you ask David Infante from Mashable.com, a yuccie is a young urban creative. And he says that the hipster is dead and that the yuccie has taken their place. Yeah, it is a young urban creative, which he says is a millennial creative who voluntarily avoided the straight and narrow path to riches in finance or advertising and instead went into a more creative endeavor and says that that person feels entitled to riches and wealth because they want to be rewarded, not for how they can contribute to like a long-standing business or industry, but rather their creative ideas have value. We're going to go through essentially a checklist to see if we match up with these, but first, thoughts, 5 words or less.
It's actually pronounced Yuccie.
Yuccie.
Worst name ever.
So hipsters just took a bath?
Yeah. Hipsters avoiding labels with labels.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so when you first, we all read the article. What do we think? Do we like this new word?
I mean, can I just state for most of us here, I think we're all part of this generation, this movement, as millennials, and just be like, I love our generation. People hate it, right? And it's mostly people from older generations that are just like, too involved in technology. I don't care about the social morals. I love the fact that we are so creative that we're trying to think of these innovative ways now, not just to be unique, but to make money as well. Because you're taught at school that you need to be going out there to study and try and focus and make sure you can make money. Why not do it doing something you love? This guy hit the nail on the head there. And not only are we people that just wants to stand out and maybe grow our mustache and twirl it around, but we want to be creative, make money, and that's what you're supposed to do in life, right? So be creative, at the same point, take care of yourself. I don't think there's a problem with that.
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this whole article. I feel Mashable is really trying to push this whole concept of the yuccie.
Yeah. I feel like they're trying to start something.
Yeah, it's just on Mashable, and they keep pushing it up. They're like, yeah, the yuccie, the yuccie, the yuccie. It's not that much different than what like hipsters.
Yeah, they're just coming up with a word that bridges between when you're a hipster to when you're a yuppie. You have to be something in between at this age, and we just happen to be this age, and he just wants to give it something. He wants to be something, and he's calling it yuckie, which is the worst thing ever. That is not going to catch on. I'm sorry. That is a terrible name.
Yeah.
Stop trying to make fetch happen. It's not going to happen.
I get the yuckie aspect of it. I get wanting to have it like have a sound that is is off-putting.
Yeah.
Because hipster is off-putting. But I do think that hipster inherent in the hipster is the desire not to be labeled. And you're aloof, but then again, there was actually a study put out that said that hipsters are so slow in adopting new trends that like they were able to sit there long enough where now everybody, like I have a friend who looks like a hipster and he's an actor and he gets tons of commercials because, you know, regardless of how, I mean, he is an independently creative person. But definitely ad agencies have been like, we need someone with a beard and those thick glasses and wears plaid all the time.
Yeah.
And so the hipsters feel like they've already been labeled by the ad agencies and all of, you know, the consumerist lifestyle. And they are trying, I think they're trying to independently label themselves. But what I do think is that there's still hipsters. And I think the guy that wrote this is a hipster. I don't think the journalists and the writers get looped in with the yuccie. The yuccie is, like, I know someone who could be considered a yuccie. She worked at, like, she worked for, like, a media company and then was like, you know what I want to do? I love jam. And she decided to make jam. And she literally makes the best jam in America. And she has a very successful restaurant. And that is the super driven person. Now, there's still this malaise that takes over everybody in, you know, I want to say most of the people in Silver Lake.
Yeah.
And the people like the one who wrote this article, who's very articulate, but like he says himself, you know, there's a difference between trying to get rewarded financially, like all the yuckies that they mention, and then the person who writes about it and is just like, I want my creative ideas to get out there.
Yeah.
And it's not like I do agree with a lot of the things he's saying about our generation. I think we do have a lot of those aspects, like being grown up into privilege and then thinking that we can do anything creative and make money off of it.
You can do anything you want. You are bound by nothing.
I'm trying to piece it together to when like there was hippies, and then after that whole era ended, a lot of them became disillusioned by what they were doing, all the free love and everything.
Yeah.
And then they became born-agains or whatever. They went even more conservative.
I think yuccie for me is the person who they say in the article is like, you know, do Tinder for dogs.
Yeah.
It's the person, and then also like as most of the service industry is just getting so automated, they're the people who either lash out against that by creating like some kind of disruptive app that is a new creative way to kind of well branded. They're like people who are well self-branded, and that's like the new entrepreneur. Or they're the person who tries to get around like the mass marketing thing by, as much as they want to avoid labels, I feel like the Yuccie is all about like physical labels.
Yeah.
Like who's the label on my shirt? Who made it? Is it like, is it a rough around the edges label?
And I agree that the article and the labels, it's all just a facade. It's a facade for people to try and categorize themselves in different organizations, different categories. But coming from basically back home in Scotland, where tons of people would just consistently say no. Like, no, you can't go to the United States. No, you can't do what you dream of doing. I just love the message that he portrays in the article, that you can literally do anything you want to do, and your appearance doesn't mean basically for it. You can do what you want to do as long as you're driven and go along with it.
But basically, you're a massive Yuccie.
Yeah, massive Yuccie is what I'm saying.
And you're proud of it.
It's a difference in I don't think the appearance doesn't mean I think it's the appearance does mean a lot, but the conventional idea of like wearing a suit and tie to work doesn't.
Exactly. Why do you think the sneakers came from the suit and tie? That's how Yuccie is doing that. You know what? I'm going to wear a suit and follow your stereotypes, but I'm going to throw sneakers on it because they're comfortable and I can therefore be more creative when I think about it.
Right, and there's definitely a part of me that hopes that like the yuppies are masquerading as Yuccies to take advantage of all these people who just want to be, quote, disruptive. What do you guys think? Are you a Yuccie or do you find that label sucky? Give us your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe and we'll see you next time on Pop Trigger.